Good afternoon, Louisiana. I am Warren Peace, and this is LLWS's live coverage on Hurricane Aladeen. We've had many hurricanes hit the United States, many here in Louisiana. The latest hurricanes that hit Louisiana have been in the last 15 years. Those hurricanes including Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Humberto, and Hurricane Ike. The most deadly hurricane within the last 100 years was Hurricane Katrina, killing more than 1,500 people. In the last 10 years, Louisiana has experienced 6 hurricanes ranging from a Category 1 to a Category 3. And now I'll switch over to our main man in the field, Max Power. Max, how's the weather out there?
It's raining sideways.
That's great, Max. Didn't you bring an umbrella?
I used to, but it's inside out, 2 miles that way.
That's neat, Max. What can you tell us about this hurricane?
Hurricane Aladeen is currently a Category 3 hurricane and is expected to hit land within the next 48 hours. It's near the middle of the Gulf of Mexico and it's expected to hit land around the Mississippi and Louisiana area. The path goes up through the Carolinas and it is expected to go back into the Atlantic Ocean near Virginia.
Are there any effects happening right now?
There are some high winds and some heavy rains, but as you can see, the weather has let up a little bit and the winds have died down. There's some massive waves hitting the shoreline causing some flooding. Luckily we're on a high spot where the flooding hasn't reached. It's expected to get worse over the next few days. There are some sandbags being placed throughout various areas to reduce the effects of flooding. We aren't evacuating right now, but we don't advise against it. If evacuation is needed, you need to leave as soon as possible to reduce the effects of built-up of traffic. Make sure to tune into your local weather broadcast to listen for any new updates. If you can't leave the city or evacuate, make sure to get to a higher elevation or a tall building. After the hurricane has passed, continue to listen for weather updates. Make sure to watch out for down power lines and don't use an open flame for light or water.
Thanks for the report, Max. For more information, go to our website, www.louisiananewsteam.com.
Thanks, Warren. This is the latest on Aladeen's path up to the coast. It is currently projected to hit the New Orleans area around dinner time 4 days from now. After it hits, we expect it to veer east and then travel north up through Tennessee and the Carolinas and then exit back into the ocean via Virginia. This is the satellite image of Hurricane Aladeen's current location in roughly the center of the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see here, New Orleans is getting an increasingly heavy amount of rain as well as some slight flooding. Up here in Baton Rouge, we're receiving a moderate amount of rain, as well as what will likely develop into some slight flooding. As for right now, it looks like the storm can only get worse. We're seeing some heavy rain and thunderstorms. These will increase in intensity as the hurricane moves through the area for a few days after the hurricane has passed.
During a hurricane, you need a first aid kit. In that first aid kit, it comes with bandages, or stuff to cover wounds up. You got some Q-tips to disinfect it with, who knows, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, iodine, whatever you have on hand. Here you have Band-Aids, because you can't go anywhere without Band-Aids in case you get a cut. Well, we have gauze to hold bandages on. We have latex gloves in case you're dealing with someone that has HIV, AIDS, hepatitis. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. Here we just have all sorts of just burn cures right here. We have disinfectant. We have ibuprofen for when it's just something minor. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you have. We also have a couple needles of EpiPen stuff in case, you never know, they might have an allergic reaction to bees. You also need scissors. We also need eye wash stuff and just some sort of painkiller because you never know. We need ointment that disinfects, such as, we have gauze to cover up wounds that are big. We have big bandages.
in case, you know, they get that big gasher right here, it's just bleeding everywhere. We also have an ice pack in case they break an arm and it's just swelling and swelling, and you gotta get that swelling down. Here we have alcohol wipes, because to disinfect stuff. We also have safety pins. If needed, I bet you could use those to stitch shut some sort of cut, but you can use it to hold the gauze together. Here we also have a space blanket, because you never know when you get lost in the middle of nowhere during a hurricane and it's just freezing and you get hypothermia. It's like, I'm so cold. This will keep you warm to an extent. I mean, I don't recommend you live off this stuff. If you need any more information on where to get, what to bring in case you have an emergency, or what to prepare for, call 1-800-8-FIRST and get your very own first aid kit. Once again, 1-800-8-FIRST. Now we'll welcome Mr. Sweeney Harris, a hurricane expert from UC Berkeley.
Thanks, Warren. It's great to be here in Baton Rouge, even if it's not for a particularly good reason.
Anything you can tell us about this storm? Anything unusual about it?
Well, Hurricane Aladeen is pretty standard. However, July seems to be a dead zone as far as hurricanes go for some reason. There have only been 3 in July in the past 100 years, and only 1 was above a Category 1. The surface area is hovering around 320 square miles. This is a bit higher than expected, especially for a Category 3.
Good to know. What can you tell the viewers about how hurricanes form?
Well, hurricanes form from the evaporation of water over the ocean. The ocean must be heated to 26 degrees Celsius and remain at this temperature for an extended period of time. The heat of the water and the evaporation from this is the hurricane's source. The water vapor rises, pushing the dense, humid air up into the atmosphere. This causes air pressure to drop. Air will then flow to the low pressure source from the higher pressure areas around, causing more and more energy to build up. The group of thunderstorms that have formed as a result of the rising water vapor will then begin to rotate. The rotation is as a result of something called the Coriolis effect. Now, the Coriolis effect is a long and complicated thing, but the long and short of it is that that's what causes a hurricane to rotate. The rotation slowly builds in speed, getting to around 40 miles per hour. This is when it becomes a tropical storm. The storm spins and spins and spins, continuing to build speed. All this while, the warm, humid air rises, creating the eye, the calm center of the hurricane. All the built-up winds have been continuing this entire time. And so we have this enormous storm, all this pent-up energy, and we have these powerful winds rocketing the whole thing around and around. And this entire storm is combined with the heavy thunderstorms that we're seeing right now, which are, in fact, part of Hurricane Aladeen. All of which is going to smash into the Louisiana coast. There's going to be catastrophic damage.
We've reached the end of the hour. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe. I am Warren Peace reporting for LLWS.